Okay guys, so the first major tip for mastering legato is to walk before you can run. And what I mean by that is, it probably seems really simple and obvious to a lot of people, but you'd be surprised how many of us overlook it. And it's really simple. Before you start ripping up the fretboard with crazy legato runs, you want to make sure that your hammer-ons and pull-offs are up to scratch. Otherwise it's not going to sound clean, it's not going to sound crisp, and you're just going to end up having sloppy legato playing. So really slow everything down and just work on your hammer-on and pull-off technique. Work your head and hands around the mechanics of it and how it works, and really just make sure you get those hammer-ons and pull-offs sounding as strong as possible. So basically, once your fingers are nice and strong from working on all those hammer-ons and pull-offs, the legato playing should be a lot easier once you start getting into some more intensive stuff. Okay guys, so tip number 2 to master legato is don't be afraid to pick. Now what I mean by that is we tend to overlook the right hand and sort of forget about it when we're focusing on legato, because it is such a left hand intensive technique. You know, it's all left hand and hammer-ons and pull-offs, so we tend to think just that, okay, the left hand's all that matters. And while that's true to an extent, you know, there's no arguing that it's very intensive for the left hand, the right hand I think still has a part to play. So if you think of it this way, very simple, think of your left hand as the fire and your right hand as the fuel. And basically you're just adding fuel to the fire. So using your picking hand to sort of just initiate the legato phrases can be the difference between a weak sounding legato run and a really strong and confident sounding legato run. Okay guys, so tip number 3 on how to master legato is called "You've got 5 fingers." And now, so simply what I'm getting at there is you want to use all 5 fingers to enhance your legato in every way possible. And yes, I mean the thumb as well, because the thumb plays just as an important part as the fretting fingers, because the thumb is, the positioning of the thumb is very important. So, you know, obvious things are, you know, when you're doing a wide stretch, the thumb sort of goes lower down towards the bottom of the neck to enable the stretch. But it's also really important to remember that the thumb is essential to, obviously, the grip that you have on the neck for all guitar playing. But I think it's just especially as important with legato, and can really help if you're having some trouble with it, where use the strength in your thumb to really grip the neck, and it can help out the fretting fingers, because then they're not doing all the work on their own and the thumb's not sitting back there doing nothing. So if the thumb's really pushing against the neck, really grabbing it firmly, you know, you don't want to hurt yourself or anything, but firmly holding the neck and really keeping your fretting hand in place, the fretting fingers aren't having to work as hard as if the thumb was very relaxed and they're trying to grip the notes all on their own. And what I also mean by that is that we tend to sometimes favor certain finger combinations. So, you know, a lot of people are confident with, you know, 1, 3, and 4 fingers, or 1, 2, and 4. You want to be able to play legato with all the fretting fingers as well. So what you basically want to do is make sure you find some exercises that involve every finger, and work out with every finger combination, okay? So you want to practice legato 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, okay? A stretched sort of 1, 2, 4, a stretched 1, 3, 4, chromatic, okay, all 4 fingers. And you want to practice the hammer-ons and pull-offs with all those finger combinations. Okay guys, so tip number 4 on how to master legato is use your acoustic. And so what I'm talking about here is, if you've got an acoustic guitar lying around the house, it's a good idea to, if you're having trouble with legato, to grab the acoustic and start practicing hammer-ons and pull-offs and some legato stuff on the acoustic. You know, this isn't essential, but it's a good way to help push through the difficulty of building up your legato technique, especially when you first start. I've done this with a few students who are having trouble on the electric with the legato playing, and then went home, practiced it on the acoustic, and came back, and on the electric they were able to play a lot stronger and a lot cleaner. And basically the reason behind this is, you know, especially if you're using light gauge strings on your electric, the acoustic generally is going to have thicker strings. I mean, this depends on what strings you use, of course, but basically you want to have the guitar that's harder to play, is what I'm getting at. So if you have an acoustic with steel strings on it, or an acoustic with high action, or even an electric with really thick strings or high action as well, if you practice doing hammer-ons and pull-offs on a guitar like that, what happens is you're strengthening your fingers basically in your hands by playing on strings that are way harder to play on. So then basically when you come back to your electric guitar, which might have lighter strings on it, nicer action, all of a sudden the legato feels a lot easier because you're not having to work as hard as you were on the other guitar that's a lot harder to play. So, okay guys, so the fifth and final tip on how to master legato is to go listen to Joe Satriani. There you go, I said it. But in all seriousness, it is a great way of improving a technique, is by going to listen to the guys who are masters at that specific technique. Joe Satriani is an obvious master of legato and everyone knows it. So he helped me a lot when I was learning legato. I'm a big fan of his, so I was always listening to his music, always watching his videos. So it really gave me a good understanding of how legato sort of looks and how it sounds. And so you can go ahead and look for these guys, look for Joe Satriani, watch him doing some legato stuff. Guys like Alan Holdsworth, Steve Vai's got great legato, Guthrie Govan's got great legato. Find all these great players and study the way they play that particular technique, and you'll be able to visualize and hear what they're doing, and that might help when you go ahead and do it yourself. You might be playing it and sort of something they did comes back to you and you go, oh right, and that helps push your technique even further. Hey guys, so that's the first episode of 5 guitar tips to change your life. I truly hope that there was something in here for you guys to take into your own playing and to improve upon your legato playing. Don't forget, check out our other videos, subscribe if you like, share the video, leave comments, and just stay motivated, keep playing music, and we'll see you in the next video.